Hey guys, Curious, welcome back to my channel, and today I decided that I was going to take a look at every single chord from Aikatsu Season 1 and Season 2. I didn't just look at the anime chords, but I also looked at the DCD cards because I thought there might be some hidden gems I want to highlight. So essentially we're going to be going over each and every part, and I'm going to talk about what I liked about the fashion, and it's just a way for me to appreciate all the inspiration Aikatsu has given me and how it's undeniably changed my art style. Part 1 of the DCD series gives us the main characters' three brands, Angely Sugar, Futuring Girl, and Spice Chord. Angely Sugar is very frilly, there's a lot of lace, and I do think that the chords that work best here are the ones with saturated yellow, either pastel or saturated colors, because there's the ice blue frill chord and the puff sleeve lemon chord. I think that a lot of these work really great, and I especially love the premium rare. The usage of wings really makes the character stand out. After all, Ichigo is the main, and having her have wings is a way to make her, special. I especially love the layers on the skirt, and it's clear a lot of thought was put into this design. Now on to Futuring Girl. We've got a slightly more boyish brand, but the main theme seems to be space, and there's a lot of reflective material being used. I think that these do work, however, as far as part 1 goes, it's a pretty solid start. I'm not the biggest fan of the PR, mainly because of how wavy it is. The starry pattern is nice to look at, and it's an okay design overall. I'm just being nitpicky. The last brand that we get is Spicy Ageha. It's a slightly more mature, dressy brand. There's a lot of outfits that look like something you'd wear to like an evening gathering, and it's got a completely different vibe from the first two. Overall, I think these first three provide a good amount of variety in terms of fashion sense, showing off three idol types in a really solid start. However, those aren't the only clothes we get this part. We also get the stage chords. These are often some of my favorite chords in Aikatsu because of the creativity it takes to have multiple characters essentially wear the same outfit but still look unique and have their fashion sense shine through. Ran, for example, wears a really frilly crop top which I think suits her perfectly. Aoi opts for almost a sailor-like top, it's plain and peach, while Ichigo wears a pretty standard vest and poofy shirt combo. I also like the giant bow she has on her midriff. I think it really sells it. Ran has high heels, Aoi has boots, and Ichigo has tiny little heels. I like the three of these a lot, and compared to what we're gonna see in Season 2, these stage chords are definitely better than what's to come. Part 2 gives us two new PRs, starting with the main character's PR, Ran's Rose Bonbon chord. Now I absolutely love this, primarily because of how it just really embodies all the best parts of Spicy Ageha, roses, the butterfly theme, even in the official art. This chord always looks spectacular, You've got the frilly top, the giant butterfly on the chest, you've got the jewelry, the roses on her head, the giant rose at her waist. It's just a really good design. It's not too monotonous because you've got black breaking up the purples, and the multicolored roses on the skirt with the black frills, the black boots. It's just a lot to take in, and I absolutely love it. Our second PR is from one of the brands I hold really close to my heart, and that's Happy Rainbow. The Tropical Basket chord is one of my favorite PRs in the entire franchise. I think just the way it's designed and how much the small design elements contribute really makes this a very special chord to me, because it's got this giant yellow dress, but also it's got these stripes that kind of make the skirt look like orange slices, which fits into the fruit theme, but it's not too much. It's got this giant, it's got this tutu on it with all of these fruits. It's just such a good chord, and it doesn't have a lot going on. I know it looks very busy, but it's mostly because of the fruits they threw on. If you look at the outfit itself, it's not too much. I remember once calling this chord simple and someone said it's not, but something about it it makes it look like there's not as much going on as there clearly is. It's just a very good cord, the yellow and orange balance each other out pretty amazingly, and the fruits never look like they're doing too much when she's on stage. It's just an incredible cord to take in, and it's one of the reasons Happy Rainbow is pretty much like one of my favorite brands in Aikatsu Season 1 and 2. Kinda wish they carried it over, but anyway. The other highlights this part are the yellow stage cord, which has a really cute jacket, and these multicolored buttons. It fits Otome perfectly. There's also a few good R's. The Lucky Pilot cord, for example, makes great use of gray, and the campaign rares aren't that bad either. While I do think the top is a bit too pink and the Sweet Restaurant cord, I'm willing to forgive it because it does look very cute when put together. The Pilot Girl jacket seems like the Lucky Pilot cord, just with a bit more dazzle. It's not bad. I'm not a huge fan of Glitter Violet. I think that the campaign rare for Ran and Otome look really messy. The boots I'm pretty sure they use for something else later on, but yeah, beyond Ichigo and Aoi, the campaign rares this part aren't really that great. Part 3 gives us a surprising amount of really good art chords. Let's start with Valentine's Style from Angely Sugar. It gives an indoor, graceful vibe. The floral patterns at the top really do remind me of like upper class wallpaper with how floral it is. This gives me that kind of feel. We also get the Tomboy chord in Happy Rainbow. Looks like something Otome would wear while painting or just relaxing, chilling about. There's the Boy Check chord in our new Gothic brand, Lolly Gothic. It manages to look like really formal, dark academia-like. I think it's pretty great. Yeah, there's a lot of good rare chords in this part. Even Angely Sugar gets the Royal One Piece chord, which is a really nice blue dress. I can see Ichigo wearing this, I wish she did. It's just that there's so much that's good in this part that I honestly can't help but gush about the fact that we didn't get to see these. I think we should have gotten to see more outfits, but I won't complain. There was enough variety to keep me satisfied. Now on to the PRs. Lolly Gothic's PR, Goth Magic, is probably one of the best Gothic chords. It really sets a standard that I'm going to compare the other Gothic chords to in later parts of this video or in later series. The use of purple is offset by the diamond checkered blue parts. It really does have a lot of angular shapes and a big white frilly skirt underneath all of that. It's the second PR to have wings, I think. It's honestly a very iconic chord, and I can see why Yuriko was a fan favorite. I mean, this design just really carries the vampire theme so well. Honestly, it's just incredible. There's checkered socks. I think that I'm gonna have to compare this to the constellation dress she gets next time, because not a lot of Gothic chords in Lolly Gothic really meet this standard after this. The next PR I'm gonna cover is one I'm not a fan of. I think the multicolored chord from Spicy Agahead just has way too much going on. The black is immediately interrupted with this very busy red, purple, and magenta pattern on the skirt, which also has gold and black. There's just too much going on every part of this, and I don't really enjoy looking at it. I think the sleeves look great, but once your eyes see the skirt, it's very distracting, and that's the only part of this chord I can ever focus on when they bring it out. I just don't think it looks very good. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's way too busy. Of course, if you disagree, just be sure to let me know. It's a very opinion-based video given that it is fashion. But with that said, let's move right on to part 4. Part 4 mainly has two things to note, and that's mainly the two new PRs. Aurora Fantasy is a new lovely brand with flowers and fairies. The PR is the blooming chord, and I'm not a fan of how many textures are on it, but I will admit they did do a good job. It's the third PR with wings. I really do like the gold accents on the tops and the shoes. It looks really pretty and makes it almost look elven, like I could see this in a traditional fantasy story. I mean, I'm just now getting that it is called fantasy, so it makes a lot of sense. It's mainly the skirt that I don't like because of all the glitter on, and the random flowers on it. It just seems like they could have done something more green, something that fit better. It doesn't look as bad in CGI because I do think it looks worse on the DCD cards, which is a shame because for some of these coords, that's all I have to judge them on. But in the official art, they kind of tone it down. It looks a lot more cohesive when you're not looking at, the original CGI that was a little rough and undersold some of the coords. Happy Rainbow also gets its second PR in the Marble Candy coord, and Happy Rainbow never really misses. Every PR that the brand has is amazing to look at. I think that the chocolatey pattern on the bottom is incredible. There's lots of bouncing candy. It gives off the impression that the candy is bouncing off of the edge of the skirt. I like the top and the different shaped buttons. The shoes I'm not the biggest fan of, but I don't think they're bad. I think they're just fine. There's sweets accessories on Otome's hair, and I think that this is another good PR. It's no tropical basket, but it certainly is very good, and it seems like it's definitely doing something different. It's a lot pinker than the other PRs in this brand. I love it. There's not too many non-PR coords that are nice in this part. Stripe Gothic is good. It kind of reminds me of the block check coord from the previous part. And lastly, a minor nitpick. Spicy Agaha keeps using fur in their coords, and every time they use it, I don't like the result. Once again, this may just be because, the way the cards looked back then was rough, but I really don't like any coord in Spicy Agaha with fur. It just always ends up looking gray or lifeless or dirty sometimes, but that's it for part 4. Part 5 gives us a lot to look at, and we're going to start with the unit dresses. This is where we get Soleil and TriStar's unit dresses. Now, while Soleil's unit dresses don't look amazing in the season they debut in, later on the CGI improves and the saturation that bothered me is kind of toned down for a more glossy look. I don't mind that they didn't use the girls' colors. I do appreciate the fact that it's not just one solid, pink blob. I appreciate that there's like different shades, especially on the skirt. That was the main problem I had when I first saw it in the original anime. There wasn't enough of a difference in the shades used, probably because of the CGI being limited, but later on these coords do start to look pretty nice. They do fit the sun theme excellently, and there's not much more I have to say about them. Now onto the TriStar unit coords. These give me a somewhat steampunk vibe. Maybe it's just me, but it's mostly in the top. They have a few, regal elements from Mizuki, a few gothic elements from Yurika, and fun clown-like elements, mostly in the face makeup, from Kaede. These unit coords fit their members pretty perfectly. Unlike Soleil, which isn't a fault, I still like the Soleil coords, but I think that these 3 outfits clearly belong to these 3 characters. I like the colors that they chose, Yurika making use of a shade of green we don't see her wear much. Mizuki gets red, blue, and purple, as Kaede takes yellow and lime green, which are like Aikatsu's pop colors. I always love when they use those. We need more coords with these kind of colors. I would love to see, an Akko get a coord like this, but these look incredible. The multi-layered skirts really do help give a little bit more detail. I like that each of them has like a black bust. It makes it look more united in terms of color. And overall, these are great designs. Now onto the PRs we get. Aoi's brand really gets to show off with a Kaleido mirror coord. It really does use angular shapes to its advantage here because not only does it look really beautiful, but it also looks like jagged, almost like glass. And once again, as I mentioned, reflective material seems to be like a theme in this brand. I love how many diamonds and triangles they are. They must have had a lot of fun designing the skirt because that's where most of the busyness is. But the crown is very neat. Looking at the crown on its own, you might not notice it during the live, but there really was a lot of hard work put into each part of this cord. The sleeves are a bit basic, but I think that's because the top already has so much going on. You don't really need extra detail. But yeah, this is one of the best PRs in the franchise as well. It's really iconic. It's one of the PRs that I think about. I think it's even one of the PRs I saw in the AMV that got me into Aikatsu that made me go, wow, that's a really good outfit. Mizuki also gets a brand this part, Love Queen. I don't think she had a PR in this part. I don't think she did. Maybe I missed it, but we do get an R chord, the Party Queen chord. It's pretty basic. I've said chord a million times in this video and it's starting to sound really silly, but I love how wavy it is. They actually put effort into animating this. Can't have been easy. I think the use of pink and all the jewels really does give it a lot of grace. There's like jewels and lots of gold decorative jewelry on the cord. It looks stunning. It looks incredible, and I wish we could have seen this with better CGI because that's the only thing I can see that would like help improve this because it's pretty much perfect. Last PR of the part is the Piero Carnival cord, and this one really fits the clown circus theme. There's lots of multiple colors on the sleeves. There's a diamond checkered pattern. The skirt almost looks like the stage cord, but less wavy. There's makeup on her face, and she has a fun hat. It's just very nice to look at and gives off a very fun vibe. Forgot to mention, but it's part of the new brand, Magical Toy. This part just keeps giving because beyond those amazing chords, we have the Aurora Flare chord and the Flower Pirouette chord from Aurora Fantasy. We've got Electric Setup from Futuring Girl, as well as Nocturne Tube and Dark Blue Corset from Spicy Ageha. These both look amazing, leagues better than what Spicy Ageha got to, show off in the previous parts. I think this is honestly the best part of the entire season. So part 6 is the final part of season 1, and I think it really does compete with part 5 because it has two incredible PRs fit for the finale, and those are the Star Festival chord and the Royal Moon chord. The Star Festival chord has these gigantic 3-layered wings with jewels on the top layer and different colors. It's got this incredible star on the waist that really holds all the layers of the skirt together. It fits Angely Sugar better than any other chord does. It's a lot to take in, but I really do think that once you look at it, you can kind of make sense of it. I don't know if I'll find it, but there was a drawing explaining like each of the layers of the dress. It's one of the best designs, one of the most iconic chords from season 1. Royal Moon is the second PR we get in this part. Finally a PR befitting the queen, Kanzaki Mizuki. It just gives off luxury and opulence with the fur, which actually looks good here because the CGI had improved vastly. The purple on the skirt gives me fortune-telling curtain vibes, I don't know why, but there's fur on the boots and jewels as well. There's a lot of gold, and there is just something so beautiful about the wings. They look like jewels, and the spiral, or rather the circle decal in the middle really brings it all together. She's got her red crown and the jewel on top. It's such a regal chord. Now, the official art doesn't always make it look as regal as it should be, but I do think that this chord is another iconic one that most Aikatsu fans remember pretty well. I do think that I'm glad they saved these for the finale. Having such amazing chords only appear once really does make them seem even more special. Star Anise performed here, but this video is getting pretty long, so I won't go into each of their chords. I'll just say I like that they used white as a base, and they showed the girls, individual fashion senses pretty well. Some other standouts for this part are the Scheherazade cord, Aqua Pastry, Ponyland, and Leopard Frill. I forgot to mention the other girls' school cords, so we'll go over them now. Kaida's got like really nice boots. I love the shade of green Sakura has, wish she got some more love. And lastly, the masquerade cords didn't really do much for me. I found the spider webs pretty unnecessary. I did like the masks though. And that pretty much concludes Season 1. So far, my favorite brands are Happy Rainbow, Angely Sugar. I would place Futuring Girl below that, and Spicy Ageha too. The rest are just okay. Oh, Lolly Gothic is great too. Forgot to mention that. We don't see too much of Magical Toy, but what we do see is nice enough. So those are my thoughts at the end of Season 1. So now that I've seen everything, I would say my favorite brand is Happy Rainbow. It also has my favorite PR, Tropical Basket. My second favorite PR would be Star Festival. And number 3 would be a tie between Kaleido Mirror and Goth Magic. After that, I think I would place Ribbon Bonbon from Spicy Ageha or Piero Carnival, though I do prefer Ribbon Bonbon. Now as for the art chords, my favorite art chords would have to be Lucky Pilot, Nocturne 2, Scheherazade, and Classical Waltz, with my favorite end chords being Electric Chord, Dark Blue, Block Check, and Elegance Purple. I also like Dreamy Candy, but not as much as the others. With that said, that pretty much concludes this video. Initially I was going to do Season 2 chords as well, but 12 DCD parts is a lot, and this video is already over 20 minutes, so I think it's best if I leave it at that. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as share. I have a Tumblr, a DeviantArt, and a Twitter, links all in the description. And next time we'll probably be talking about Aikatsu once again.